What's up, guys? Grab that coffee out. This is the AMZ Secret Show, and your host, David Aladdin. We are live at the International Command Center, Outpost 41, Podcast 41. I've built this show to jump past the basics and into the Amazon war. We are the front line, the strategists. While the corporate guys are sleeping, we are building our kingdoms. I look to understand the person, their strategies, their secrets, so that all of us can optimize our businesses. Today's sponsor is AMZ Secrets Keyword King, a new tool inside of our VIP platform that allows the community to create the most powerful, relevant combinations and fill in that 5,000 character allowable in their Amazon backend. We have done this with our listings and are already seeing increases in sales. How much of an increase? That announcement will come soon. And today we've got a special guest on the show. His name is John Lawson, based in Atlanta headquarters. He is the author of the Kickass Social Commerce for ePreneurs. He is the CEO of Third Power Outlet, an online clothing retailer. He is the chief consultant at ColderICE Media, a digital marketing firm, and a social commerce evangelist traveling around the world to spread the good word about internet businesses to tens of thousands of avid fans in more than 24 countries and teaching would-be millionaires how to achieve their dreams. Thank you for coming on the show, John. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Oh God, you want more than that?
Yeah, I want the deep details.
I don't know. I started selling online like in 2001, so it wasn't, like the glory of trying to do something incredible and take over the world type shit. I was basically going completely broke, and I needed something to supplement my income. Because I invested in a piece of property to try to flip it, and it didn't flip, and I was stuck with a second mortgage. And so that's kind of how I was introduced into the world of e-commerce. I mean, if you can just think about what technology was like, what is that, 16 years ago.
What were you doing before that?
I was an IT consultant for a Fortune 100 company.
Okay, so you had a property and it didn't do well. Was that kind of like an entrepreneurship venture that you were thinking about doing?
I've always been an entrepreneur. I mean, I've always had some sort of, hustles going on. I've done things over the years, a lot of different things. So, but that thing was about to just kill me.
Well, I know a lot of people are doing epic in real estate, and that's like one of their side businesses. Are you still doing real estate on the side with Amazon and e-commerce, or are you completely out of that?
I believe in real estate. I think it's a great investment. I mean, I have a strategy when it comes to owning property and those kinds of things. But I mean, that's not my main long-term goal focus in terms of investment. I mean, so there's a lot of things you can invest in. Real estate's one of them. That's a great investment. But it's just not necessarily the thing I want to go too deep in, because I don't really like it.
Yeah.
I don't like being a property owner.
No, agreed.
I own properties, I don't necessarily like it.
Well, that's Donald Trump's specialty.
Yeah.
Someone's making money, yeah.
That's not really his specialty. Donald Trump's specialty is, honestly, and I mean, I've studied him for years. I mean, he was definitely one of the people that would be on my entrepreneurial list. His specialty is marketing, So a lot of the properties that people think he owns, he actually doesn't own the properties. He just licenses his name to the properties, which is some fantastic stuff. I mean, he did a lot of things in real estate in the early days, but if you go now to where he's really making the most of his capital, it's probably in marketing, and that's probably why you don't want to let people see his taxes, because I mean, part of the story, that he kind of presents out there is I'm a big real estate mogul. It's not necessarily that any longer.
The last time I was in New York, so many buildings just had the Trump name plastered on it. Just massive buildings surrounded me. So I was pretty impressed by
I'm in Vegas right now, and I'm looking right at
the Trump building. Yeah. The only thing that building's not on the strip itself, right?
No, it's about a block over.
Yeah. So
I haven't been in that one yet. I need to go in there one day.
it's because it's so out of the way.
No, nobody wants to stay off strip.
Just on a side note, I know we're getting a little sidetracked, but how hot is it over there in Vegas? I was there a few months ago.
100 plus.
Yeah, there's no grass, right?
Yeah.
It's not like Atlanta.
Well, I mean, hey, I just took it was 100, the day I left, it was 100 in Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay, so in 2001, you're an IT specialist, and that was like right after the .com bust, right?
Yes.
How did the .com bust affect your decision making moving forward?
You know what? It was basically the company I worked for is like Accenture, and we do, or we did, when I was working there, we did a lot of the Y2K stuff, and so that was really good for business as far as that was concerned. Then after it all came to fruition and nothing big happened, it was like, oh, okay, no biggie, right? But at the same time, if you think about, 2001, that was also the time when we had 9/11. So it was a economy that was falling apart. Things were just not the way it normally was. And it was just a time for, I think, everybody to be very reflective. And I just didn't see a whole lot of opportunity for me to really turn that investment around at the time. So it was a little self-defeating, or at least felt that way, when I, had this deal fall through.
Mm-hmm. And then so you pivoted into e-commerce. What led you to that point?
Well, I was talking to a friend, giving him the sob story. I literally went and started filling out the paperwork for my bankruptcy. And I'm talking to a buddy. He's like, well, you could sell stuff on eBay. And I was like, eBay? Are you kidding me, man? I thought that was just for, fuzzy animals and stuff. And he's like, no, you can pretty much sell anything. And so since I was an IT person, they used to give us a budget annually for buying education. And education in those times, way back in the, history, was based on a book. So you would go buy books to learn technology. And these books were pretty expensive, $40, $50 a pop.
Yep.
Some of them up to $100 a pop. And I had a whole lot of those. So I started selling those books used on eBay. And that was my first foray into, this world of e-commerce. So then I ran out of books.
How diverse? How many channels are you currently on, and what channels are those?
Today?
Yeah.
eBay, Amazon, my own web store.
Okay. And okay, I don't want to jump too fast forward.
No, that's cool.
All right. So eBay was the first e-commerce channel that you dipped your toes into. How fast did you see the growth come? And that was in 2001, correct?
Yep.
Wow, you got into it really early.
Yeah, the thing is that there was, a limited amount of books that I could sell because I only had so many on my shelf. So then it became, well, what else can I sell? Mm-hmm. And before there was a word for this retail arbitrage, I went into doing retail arbitrage. So I started going into my Sunday paper and finding the free after rebate deals. And this is the time where Staples and Office Depot and Office Max all were fighting each other for customer share. And they were doing a lot of free after rebate. Most of it was things like blank CD towers. So you get like 100 CDs for free if you came in with after rebate. So I'd buy those, break them up into smaller bundles, and sell them on eBay. And that was a pretty good hustle. Then the next thing that happened, we started getting into printers because the inkjet printers started getting hot and everybody was buying inkjet printers, and the inkjet printers used to come with starter kits. So they would have starter inks because if you know, a printer, it gets you into the ink. One ink from a Canon doesn't work in a Kodak or any of those.
Yep.
So the ink is really what they're trying to get you into. So if you buy one of the printers, they'll give you some free ink. So we used to buy the printers, open the box, take the ink out, resell the printer as a used open box, like new. It was like new open box because it really hadn't been used. So we'd say the box been open, but it's pretty much brand new, warranty still new, all that, no inks. And then we would sell the ink separately. Both of those items we would get free after rebate. So bam, we was really killing it in retail arbitrage back then.
That's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
You found a weak spot in the market. Actually, it was like more of like a thing that people didn't even think of, and you were taking advantage of the high price of ink.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, it just snowballed from there. And then you realize, there's only so much scaling I could do with that. I mean, it takes a lot of time.
Yep.
So I started looking for things that I could do online, and we found the Dell Outlet store. So right now, if you go online, if you want a computer, you go to DellOutlet.com, and you can get a cheaper Dell it's been refurbished to brand new status. It might have a scratch on the cover, or the person that bought it doesn't like the color. They send it back to Dell. Dell slaps a label on it, make sure everything is back to new, and they sell it in the refurbished department of Dell Outlet. So we found that, and I started selling refurbished Dell Outlet computers on eBay. So much, in fact, that we ended up being the #1 seller of Dell computers used on eBay. And we were actually beating Dell themselves, because Dell had their own little Dell Outlet store. They were going up against us, and we were literally kicking their ass. And they got so upset with me that I got a letter in the mail that had a cease and desist order.
Wow.
That I couldn't use their images of the computer anymore to sell my stuff on eBay.
I might have been one of your customers.
My customers.
I was a Dell fan back in the day, and then I switched over to HP. So.
Absolutely, man. So we were in this fight with Dell, and so they, pretty much stopped all of our ads and got them taken down from eBay. So I got really mad because, that dried up our money immediately, and I was really pissed off at Dell. So I decided that I was going to get back at Dell.
What year was this, by the way?
This is probably like 02, 03.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm building a timeline, so.
Yeah, that's cool. And so I decided, since I had all the eyeballs for Dell, that I would change the picture, and I would take my own picture of a computer, because it's mine. I can take the picture of my own thing. Mm-hmm. And I found some bikini-clad girls, and I put it on the picture with the Dell computer. And I did it really to spite Dell, right? Yep. Immediately, our final value of the items went up by 30%.
Wow. Was that like the screensaver on the computer, or the background on the computer?
No, that would be the ad that we use inside.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
So they have this picture of a computer and his bikini girl standing next to it. And so basically what I was trying to do was, like, every time somebody looks up Dell, they would get these kind of images, and I would be like sticking it to Dell. But what ended up happening is I found out that sex really does sell. Even on computers, family computers. It was the craziest thing ever.
Actually, I want to talk more about the specific ads that you use. I guess we're going to go into nowadays. Are you still using those kind of ads?
We know how to use sex to sell, yeah.
Interesting. I don't know if I use that sex to sell enough.
It's the oldest. Come on.
And yeah, no, GoDaddy does it a lot. I don't do it enough.
Find a pretty girl, a hot guy, put it in the picture. Pretty much every, supplement, workout, gym kind of thing, they don't put ugly people on the cover. I don't know why, but we don't put ugly people on the cover.
No, of course not. All right. So, in you started. First of all, you started eBay super early. I looked it up. eBay started in 1995. You started 6 years after that, and you've been selling for what 17 years now.
Yep.
I've only been serious e-commerce maybe a year and a half, but I've been doing e-commerce software before this. But man, how fast things move.
Oh man, it's crazy.
I don't even know how far you are if you've been in it for 15 years. All right, so let's keep going. We're in 2003, and you're already using ads on eBay. How does eBay differ from before and now?
Back then eBay was a auction platform, and I think the biggest difference is that they would list your items on the platform based on when the auction was about to end. So the closer your item was to ending, the higher it was in ranking in terms of search. So it was easy to simply, at some point, your item was going to be number one in search, just based on the fact that it was about to end. And I mean, now you got to deal with search optimization and keywords and all that bullshit. I mean, back then, you really didn't have to do as much as you did. You always had some visibility based on the fact that your item was about to end.
Interesting.
That's a big difference.
I talked to this guy that was a crazy seller on eBay, or at the time, and he was talking about the strategy where people would just create a ton of listings so that the auction would end every 5-10 seconds or every minute or so. And so they'd have the top listing at every single point of time. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely, yeah. We used to do it too.
Okay, and apparently it was like super lucrative, and then they changed the algorithm up. But
yeah, I mean, here's the deal, and like you're in here, and I will tell you one thing very specifically is that marketers ruin everything. So everybody thinks they're an Amazon seller or an eBay seller. No, you're not. You're a marketer. All right? We're all marketers, and we are trying to get our products seen. We're trying to get our products ranked. That's the whole thing. If nobody sees your product, you don't sell your product. So by default, we have to be marketers. And there's an old saying that marketers ruin everything. So everything that is good today will be ruined tomorrow by marketers. And that's what's happening right now. As you see more and more people, you're a software developer. Part of what your software does is to help marketers get an edge on the marketplace. As more and more people get edges on the marketplace, then the marketplace has to be changed because it's got an unfair advantage in tipping. So that's the one thing I have learned over the years is that whatever is good today will not be good. It'll be totally defunct in a few years. Always.
That's interesting.
Business models come and go in e-commerce.
I totally agree with you that we're all marketers. I think some of us are definitely better marketers than others. I had this guy ask me, it was the other day, he's like, how is selling on Amazon easy? And I'm like, it all comes down to marketing. If you can get more visible eyeballs on your listings, you're going to sell more. It's just it's a matter of numbers. And then if those visitors are related to your listing and they're interested in buying that type of product, that's where the conversion happens.
Absolutely, man. That's totally it, isn't it?
Yep, pretty much. All right, we're done. No, but okay. So yeah, let's talk about what are you doing in terms of SEO on eBay nowadays?
I'm not a big eBay guy anymore. I mean, I have a presence there, but that is totally not my focus.
What is your focus nowadays?
If you're just talking about in the e-commerce space in terms of a market channel, it is Amazon.
Mm-hmm. And
I mean, that just literally is,
Can I ask how many listings do you have currently, or?
We have about 500 SKUs.
Ooh, are you wholesale, private label, or?
No, we actually manufacture our own products.
Okay, so.
We manufacture and import. Again, that's all I know. Once I got out of the buying other people's stuff like the Dells, I started putting my money into my own products, and I was doing private label before there was a word for it.
I don't like the name private label. I'm not gonna lie.
You said what?
I don't like the marketing term private label in itself. I like You know, have you ever like kind of like, oh, private label sounds weird?
It does sound weird, but it's actually a viable term.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the deal is, private label has been around forever. And I'll give you an example of probably one of the best private label strategies was done by Kroger's. When Kroger's realized that they only had so much shelf space, and they started looking at, because supermarkets have a very low margin of profit. It's like 2 or 3% of everything that you buy. So they realized that if they started making their own green beans and putting their own label on it and having it sit right next to the, Jolly Green Giants green beans, then reduce the price, a certain set of people would end up buying that private label. And that's where the term private label, as far as I know, actually came from, where it got really big. So supermarkets started making their own private label of the, just knocking off canned goods on the shelves. So that's the first time I ever heard it. So it's actually a real descriptive term. Most people are not Kroger, so you can't really say you're a private label, but it works.
The funny thing is, like, nowadays, like, if I'll go into like a retail store, I'll look around and I'm surprised at how many like huge companies do private label. It's not, and I think nowadays I don't think it's ever been so easy to become a private label brand because of Amazon and eBay a little bit, that it's enabled a lot of people to join into the fray. But for a long time, I feel like there's a plateau, like who can get to that plateau, to that level, to be able to do private label. And now the playing field's wide open.
I think a better term, if you're talking about, because I kind of agree with you, I don't like the term. And the reason why I don't like the term, or the way it's being applied, is because to me, if I own a brand like the supermarket, Kroger's is a brand, and that brand makes a private label, so it's branded Kroger's Green Beans. To me, that's a private label. When you're Joe, nobody, and you look out there in the market and you see, oh, I can make a pet leash, that's similar to the one that Hertz makes. Well, okay, you really are creating, if you think about your business as creating a brand, it will give you a much better perspective of the work you need to do to create a sustainable business. If you constantly think of yourself as a private label, then to me, you're just saying, I'm knocking off other people's product and putting it on the same shelf. Mm-hmm. But you don't even have a brand to really attach yourself to. Like I said, Kroger's is a brand. Target is a brand. When they bring something out under their private label, they're already putting their brand cachet behind that. And if we start thinking about our businesses as a brand, building on a brand, then it will make the private label product that we put out much more valuable to the long-term sustainability of this business. And I think people should start looking at, how am I going to build my business into a brand? That's just my thought on it.
I don't know. I completely agree with you on that. I notice, like, for me personally, I'm just working on building the brand and not doing the focus on random private label objects that I see out in the store and like, oh, it's pet leash, let's go buy that. Okay, right. Flashlight, let's go buy that. That looks like a good. I've noticed brands sell. I looked at an order from a customer the other day, and he had bought every single one of my products, and I was just like, wow. I wasn't selling him on a specific product. He bought into the brand.
He bought into exactly.
Can you tell us some of your brand strategies now that we're getting into this conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. I think here's the first thing people have to understand about the word brand, all right? There's almost two kind of brandings, and we get them confused. So there's the branding that you do to a cattle. When the cattle comes on the ranch, you heat up a piece of metal and you stamp your brand on the cattle. I think a lot of people think that is what a brand really is in the world of commerce. But that's not what a brand is. A brand actually is what people say about you, your products, and your services when you're not in the room. That is the actual brand. And if you figured that out, if you offer them right now, when we talk about Amazon as a brand, what people understand is like, I order my product, I get it fast, and if I don't like it, I can send it back. That is the brand that we are attaching ourselves to by using Amazon. And so no matter what Amazon does, when you say, hey, Amazon's doing X, you immediately think, hey, it's going to be easy, it's going to be fast, and they're going to stand behind what they provide. So that's kind of the brand strategy that we need to have. It's thinking about how the customer will relate to the experience of shopping with us. That is the value in it. Look, Michael Kors makes the same cheap-ass purses that somebody else can get made over in China. Apple makes the same phone that somebody else can get made over in China. Same, pretty much. I mean, you know what I'm saying. There's some things that are, specific, but you can get knockoffs of everything. It is the brand that adds the value. And so you got to really be strategic to figure out how can a Kardashian that has talent less than that of an ant, not dissing on them, but they don't have any talent. They're not ice skaters. They can't sing. They can't dance, but they have created a brand. A brand can be created out of nothing. So you guys out there, if you really take the time and do a brand strategy, the brand is the thing that makes people pay more for it just because it has your name on it. That's the value. That's why Trump, we're talking about him. Those buildings, people want to build a building and say, let's put the brand of Trump on it, because immediately people think anything with Trump on it is of opulence. That's a brand, man.
Agreed. I'm trying to figure out how the best way to say this. What techniques do you do to create that Trump-like brand that makes it more the impression that it's worth more value? Is it a combination of just creating the best customer service, making it easy and fast, and that premium look, or is there more to it?
I mean, there's a little bit more to it. It's really about what they call the USP. What makes your brand unique? It's the unique selling proposition. What makes it unique from everything else out there in the market? So you got to look at your market and say, how can we differentiate ourselves from our other products? So let's say we go back to the pet leash, or to the a pet product, or any product. What I would do if I'm doing those products, what do? You go out there and you start looking at the reviews. And most people start looking at the positive reviews. Start looking at the negative reviews and find all the things people hate about these products. And then you do, when you're developing yours, you add in those things that they hate. You address the things that are not good about the product. You make yours better, right? Now you've got a unique selling proposition. Of course, you got your service, you got your pricing, you got the manner in which you deal with your customers. All of that is part of the brand as well. So a brand has multiple, fingers, but put it all together and you got a fist to really, oh, that's so corny. A fist to knock them out, that's dumb. But I'm just saying, it has multiple appendages that you can actually attach to continually bring that brand into the next phase. And you think about, I used Michael Kors before. I mean, he didn't start out as the purse guy. I mean, he was actually, his brand was, that's the guy that makes great dresses for the stars. The next brand strategy he had was getting on that TV show,
Today's sponsor is AMZ Secrets Keyword King, a new tool inside of our VIP platform that allows the community to create the most powerful, relevant combinations and fill in that 5,000 character allowable in their Amazon backend. We have done this with our listings and are already seeing increases in sales. How much of an increase? That announcement will come soon.
And that became part of his brand. You look at the Trump brand, it's not just, the actual building and all that, but it's his mouthpiece. You know, the fact that he's out, look, I got the best golf courses in the world. I know nothing about the Trump. That's all branding. All branding, man. You do that with your press releases. You do that with the way you write your product descriptions. The brand, the first thing you need to understand is your brand, and then that brand strategy gets pushed into everything you do. Everything.
I
has to be in alignment with the brand.
I had this conversation with I can't remember who it was, but Trump, whether he wins or loses the presidential race, I feel like he's like the best marketer ever. I mean, he's got himself on national news almost every night now, and his name is plastered on buildings, so all the value just increases for all of his brands, pretty much.
You know what?
It's a different game.
Well, it's not only a different game. I don't know. I mean, I think we're so off the path, but
it's okay.
Here's the deal. I do think that there is a gamble that he's doing right now, because I think at some level he could actually hurt the brand.
It's true. If he turns voters against, well, I don't know. When you get into such a huge population, it's far past, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it did damage the brand.
I think some people will never stay at his hotels just because they're Democrats or they want it.
Yeah,
they hate him.
Move from Macy's. That was a damaging of the brand. He'll never get back on The Apprentice. That's damaging of the brand. However, there's going to be new opportunities for him. You know, I can definitely see him. You know, I've heard that he might want to do his own television network. I can see that happening. You know, I can see a lot of things that will come out. I mean, opportunity. Well, let me just go to the fact that what you said is absolutely correct, bro. He is a master strategist when it comes to.
I think he might be the best ever. I don't know.
He's the best ever. I think P.T. Barnum would beat him. But
who?
He's up there.
Sorry, who'd you say?
P.T. Barnum.
Who's that?
You need to just look up P.T. Barnum. All right?
Okay.
He's the guy, Barnum Bailey Circus. You need to, as an entrepreneur, you need to study that book. It's the most amazing stuff. He's probably the best ever.
Interesting. Okay.
That's right. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. Here's the thing. Success leaves trails. Everywhere it goes. You don't have to make up new success. Most of us need to go back to the 1930s and read what those guys had to say, because that is where the wisdom is. The wisdom is not on, Joe Schmo's podcast and, in Joe Schmo's new book on this topic. All that shit is garbage compared to what the guys did in the 1930s. Telling you. So go back and read. I'm going to look it up while we're on this thing, and I'll tell you what it is.
This is actually why I like to get off topic, because you start to, understand different aspects of business, Right now we're talking about Trump's marketing empire, and you never know. One of our listeners might become, a candidate for presidency. It might be a long stretch, but you never know. You never know. Okay, so let's talk about advertising for your brand. I did some research on you, and it seems like you do a lot of different types of advertising on all sorts of platforms. Which one do you recommend most?
For advertising, like paid advertising?
Yeah, paid or actually organic is fine too. What do you?
Okay, for paid advertising, for me, dude, Facebook is killing it. For organic engagement, that all depends on where people are already organically engaging about the products or the businesses that you sell to.
I'm gonna take a step back with the Facebook. You say it's killing it. What type of techniques are you using to kill it?
I mean, paid advertising.
Are you directly sending traffic to your website, or are you sending it to a Facebook page? Are you using video ads?
It depends on which one. Let me break off. It's called America's Greatest Showman, P.T. Barnum. That's the word. That's the book. All right.
I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So on Facebook, there's two strategies that I always tell people, I always suggest. The first one, of course, if you're going to your website, you can definitely go directly to the landing page, you know, do a buy it now kind of, or buy now kind of ad, and send traffic directly to the page. That's one strategy. There's another strategy where you're just building a list of people that are interested in your project. So you would end up doing a sales funnel, which I believe is the best strategy, is building a sales funnel. And then when it comes to Amazon, I wouldn't send people directly to my Amazon listing unless I really know that that's, you know, a good converting listing. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, Amazon's ranking system is based on whether or not somebody comes to your listing and buys. So the more people that come and buy, the higher it ranks. The more people that come and don't buy, it can actually negatively affect your product ranking. So what we do and what I create for a lot of business owners is a pre-sale page. And it's a page that mimics a Amazon page with a buy now button that pushes them directly to the Amazon page for buying. But the pre-sale page gives them all the information, even some rich information about a product before they go and buy the product. So that way, if they don't buy, or if they're just doing product research, all that kind of stuff, they can do it on the pre-sale page, and it doesn't negatively affect the fact that they're going to my product page just to read what the ingredients of a product is. So
I think you hit a pretty huge I don't want to say secret, but it's a very strategic point. I actually experimented with this with my listings. I used to send people directly to the listing. That would decrease the conversion rate. Now I send them to this like middle page where it just verifies that they are ready to buy that product. And if they are, they're going to click again, which would send them to the listing, and then they would then buy that product. And so what John's talking about is decreasing or increasing the conversion rate when you send a visitor to your page. And what I saw as a result of that, I don't know if it was the season, but it was 2 to 3x increase in sales. But there's so many variables in Amazon, so it might not be that specific thing, but I think it would. I don't know. I'm not gonna. It's too many variables.
Here's the thing: is that this strategy that I'm talking about, in aggregate, we've tested it and we've seen results. So that gives us enough data now to say that's not just one product. You know, and that's been over dozens of products, and then I've talked to other marketers that are savvy like that, and it's the same thing. So we've had the data in-house, we've compared it to other people's in-house data, and so now we can actually kind of say it's a 98% fact that it's better to do X versus Y.
I don't know if you do this as well, but it might help you. But another thing I did to extend onto that is I had one of my virtual assistants copy all my reviews and create a new category in, if you're using WordPress, and just list all those reviews in that category, and then I link to that category and fulfill, complete that Amazon type of look to convert more. So if users want to click into the link, they can see all the reviews for that specific product.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
And that would increase your organic search results on your website too.
Yeah, because all that content becomes.
If you have like 500 reviews, that becomes 500. It could become 500 different pages on Google. So.
Oh, dude, I'm taking that with me.
It's a good one, right?
Good one. That's a good one. I love that.
So, and then if you have 500 listens, that's a huge multiplier. So.
Yeah.
So, pretty cool.
Fantastic. Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, you're sharing a lot of great content, and it's always good to. Yeah.
Ask me anything.
Yeah. All right. So you say the sales funnel is the greatest. The list of people that are interested, you send them into the sales funnel. Are you talking about creating like a big email list and then marketing them?
Absolutely. The value of your business is in your customer list. See, a lot of people think they're building a business and they don't have no customer list. You're not building it. Nobody's going to buy your business, realistically. Let me put it like this. People will buy your business. but the value of your business will be massively increased by the customer list. People buy customer lists all the time. There's a thing that's been in our freaking life forever. It's called Publishers Clearinghouse. Remember that?
Yep. Is that a book publishing company?
No, the people that bring you a big fat check and knock on your door once a year with balloons.
I've never had people knock on my door with balloons.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
You should kind of remember it a little bit. But yes, they send you, or no, they don't do it anymore. They used to send you these things in the mail that had stamps, that had magazines. And you would pick 3 or 4 of the magazines. They would give it to you for a very low price, right?
Yep, I know what you're talking about. Sorry, I know
so you know what I'm talking about. It's
yep.
Sweepstakes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what that game is?
No, if you want.
Let me break the game down for you. Publishers Clearinghouse, that model, is an email list building model. So every time you go out there and they say pick 3 magazines, what you're doing is you're telling them you're giving them a customer profile. This guy likes financial magazines, health and fitness, and home and garden, or you know what I'm saying? So he likes to, cook, and he works out, and it's probably females back then, right? But what was the first one? Whatever. But anyway, you're giving them a customer profile. And so they would take all this data information and they would create lists. And they sell those lists to marketers. That's what Publishers Clearinghouse, that was the whole hustle of the game. It still is.
It's got to be still, yeah. I've seen those websites that sell massive amounts of emails.
Yeah.
It's always been enticing, but I've always never pushed the trigger on those. So in terms of email lists and building models, what techniques are you using to create and build a bigger list that's related?
So you're constantly creating funnels.
Do you have your funnels separated, or is it just one big funnel?
I think the first thing people should probably do is just get one simple funnel.
Mm-hmm. That's
Once you get into actually doing that or having one built for you, you'll start seeing the value of it immediately, right?
Yep. Because
all of a sudden, you'll get all of these people that are interested in the products that you use or that you manufacture. Whether or not they purchase from you or not, you're actually getting a direct connection to those people. I mean, the deal is that business is still done in the email box. I know it seems archaic, but if I ask everybody right now, it's like 9:30 in the morning here, and I say to people, in the morning, how many of you check your email? And pretty much everybody in the room raises their hand. So that means the email is not dead. People still use emails. Now, getting your stuff seen, read, delivered, all of that is a whole nother strategy. But if you got people already interested in your product, a segment of those people will respond. It's a numbers game. It's a total numbers game. If I send out 100 emails and one person responds, what's my result rate? 1%.
Yep.
Well, fantastic. That is a great result. Why is that a great result? Because if I want to increase it, all I got to do is increase the number of people on my list. So if I want to sell 1,000 products a day, you got to do 1,000 times 100. You get 100,000 people on an email list. You send out an email, 1,000 people purchase. That is scalable. When you start changing and doing better landing pages, doing better email titles, and you increase that conversion rate from 1 to 100 to 2 to 100. Immediately, I've increased my income by double. There's no other way I know that is that massively important to a bottom line than having an email list, in my opinion. I can't double Amazon overnight. But if I'm optimizing my emails and I know when to hit them and get that product in front of the right people at the right time, I can literally double my income.
Okay.
It's a fantastic strategy. So doing that on top of all our other strategies really does help us to create a business. And when you got that honed in, and you say, look, this is a business, we bring in people We send them through this process in our funnel. We start nurturing them with our emails, and ultimately they end up purchasing from us at this rate. That's something you can sell to somebody else because it works. It's a machine that works on its own.
What email software do you use?
Oh, there's 1,000. I mean, I use Infusionsoft.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard our last podcast seller was actually talking a big game about that software because it does everything. But
yeah, it's let me see. I think I actually have I don't know. I can't even remember.
Does that also A/B test your landing pages, or is that something different?
Yeah, it will. If you're interested, tell them to go to Infusionsoft now/ColderICE. I might as well plug my own.
You might as well. I'm okay with it.
Infusionsoftnow.com/ColderICE. ColderICE. That's my landing page. I've got a relationship with them. I'm totally doing a commercial here. It's like, no.
I think
that's what I use, and that's why I use it, because I have a professional relationship with them.
I've read somewhere the statement was third power outlet executed more than 300,000 transactions, resulting in more than $25 million in sales. And third power outlet is your business, correct?
Yeah, that's my.
Okay, so that's like
company.
That's an insane amount of sales. What
What
year was?
The thing is, it's probably a little bit low if I think about it. But I mean, you're talking about 17 years. It's not that much.
I don't know. You can build a Donald Trump building with that much money.
I can build a Donald Trump building. Well, you know, one thing is the thing is that we've done a lot of stuff on eBay. I mean, if you go to my eBay profile, it had I think it's 95,000 reviews, right? So you pretty much, I think I lowballed it a little bit, because if you think about it, probably maybe 1 in 5, maybe 1 in 10 people actually leave a review. So if you take that 95,000 and extrapolate that, I probably am closer to maybe 300,000-400,000 transactions over the lifetime of what we've been doing. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Think about it. I mean, hey, that's business, man. That's what you got to do.
I know. I feel like you're weather-torn to e-commerce. Like, you've been through it all.
I wouldn't say I've been through it all, because it constantly changes, but I have definitely seen the ebbs and flows of marketplaces.
So how are you preparing for fourth quarter, and what do you think we should all do? I guess that's kind of different with your business since it's a lot larger.
Well, I mean, my business today has a lot to do with the consulting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I know what I know, and the value of what I know, people pay for. So a lot of what I'm doing today has to do with consulting. Most of what I do online is there to keep my kid in college. You know what I'm saying? It's to keep the lifestyle. It's a lifestyle business for me. Just want to make that clear. But what we always do is we start in January planning for, December. The best time to plan for December is right after you get through with December. So what we do is we have a meeting in December, it's actually the day after New Year's. I have a strategy session for the entire year. And we put down all our notes, and we put down all the things we really learned from that last season. And then this time of year, like they say, Christmas in July, of course it's now August, but we go over all of the notes that we made. So we start determining exactly what day was it that we started to see the surge for Christmas. What items did we see that were really in high demand that maybe we ran out of, or we missed money on because we didn't have enough inventory in stock, those kind of things, and we start making a plan right now for that strategy. So one thing people have to realize is we're about to go into a rolling holiday season. There's a holiday after a holiday after a holiday, and it's a gradual approach to a rocket takeoff. And if you there's only so much you can do on the takeoff. Once the rocket really takes off, it's only like a 14-day window, right?
Yep.
It's that 2 weeks before Christmas. It's like bang.
It's
and a lot of people
it's
spend
ridiculous.
a lot of time focusing in on that, and I think they missed the opportunity of the 3 holidays prior that are really massive. So we're about to go right now into back to school. That's a massive holiday.
Yeah.
We don't consider it a holiday, but it's a massive buying cycle. And right after that, the second biggest holiday of the year is Halloween. Massive, massive buying cycle. Then we get into the Christmas season, but we got the preseason, which is the November season of Black Friday, you know? So we've gone from Black Friday as a day to Black Friday as a weekend to Black Friday as a week. And now we got pre-Black Friday sales that start at the beginning of, you know, November. So, I mean, if you start, it's almost like the long tail versus the short tail. Everybody's on the short tail. You know, let's do those 2 weeks. How do we maximize those 2 weeks? But start figuring out some of that long tail strategy where you can hit the back to school into the, you know, October into the November, and you can really, really amp up what you're doing.
I think the lesson from what you said is Americans are insane. I mean, we've got so many holidays in one group of months, in a few groups in a few months that just are lined up. So
actually, you know what? Every month there's a holiday. I think a lot of people don't.
November's stacked.
November's stacked.
I'm not gonna lie. When you said we're in August. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I said fourth quarter is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's nothing like fourth quarter.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say first quarter's not bad too if you know how to deal with it.
They're all. Honestly, all of them are pretty awesome. Fourth quarter is definitely ridiculous. I saw this graph. I saw this graph from 2001 of Amazon and how much volume they move out, and the graph is kind of like, it's kind of like parabolic, but it's very it's linear parabolic, in the sense that it started low and then it goes high at fourth quarter, and then it goes back down low. But then that line continues to increase every single year. So it's never stayed the same. It's actually kept on going up. So it's logarithmic actually.
And I mean, it wasn't an accident that they chose July as Prime Day.
They added another holiday.
That is the lowest point of the calendar year.
That's good. I actually didn't.
Throw a holiday in there, and now that bumps up. Now it's become a nice little hump in the slow year. Killing it.
That's ridiculous.
Here's the thing.
So ridiculous.
Well, I tell people, if you got your own store, look, here's a brand thing. If you got your own brand, your own store, and you know how to drive your own traffic, you can make up your own damn holiday.
How's your? We've got about 6 minutes left. How's your brand website doing versus Amazon? Have you built it up pretty good, where it's become a significant line of income?
No, it's not a significant line of income. I mean, I got 2 brands. All right, I'm like Trump. I got the buildings I own, and then I got the buildings I consult to. So the brand that I build now is John Lawson. You know, so the brand for Third Power Outlet, it does about 10% of our business. I could literally put some people on it and probably double and triple it. It's just not been my focus right now. My personal brand is the brand that's, you know, I'm moving into very rapidly, because that's where the passion is for me.
And
people.
I like how you mentioned passion. I think that directly ties into the brand as well. So it's one of the key ingredients to creating a quality, high quality brand. So we've got about 5 minutes left. Do you want to have any last words? Anything that we missed out?
I don't know, man. You were pretty intense. I like this interview. It's been pretty informative. I need to go back and take notes and shit. You know, you say stuff and you be like, wow, that came out of me. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just want to tell people, look, this is very important, guys. And this is something I always do. Build your business for yourself. I see a lot of people in this community, and I'm talking about the Amazon community. They love posting, hey, we did $1 million yesterday before noon, and all this kind of bullshit. The one thing I don't want people to get into is feeling like they have to keep up with the Joneses. Set your own pace. Do what you want to do. Don't feel like you're inferior to somebody because they've got more zeros on the end. Remember one thing, folks. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. All right? And so the more money you keep in your pocket, the more money you're worth. So it's not about, somebody posting up how much they sold. The things that they don't tell you are how much they lost last year, how much of that shit is sitting in a warehouse at Amazon that if it got cut off tomorrow, 30% of their profits would be evaporated. I mean, you just can't ever compare your life unless you got all the variables in place. And somebody just telling you how much they sold doesn't tell you how much they profited and how much they keep. So always remember that, man, because I've seen them come and go, bro. I've seen them come and go. You stay on the right path, do what you do, and make it fun and exciting for you, and that's going to keep you level-headed and ready to take on any challenges. Don't try to grow too fast. Don't be afraid of being where you want to be. I know for me, I don't want to hire like 1,000 people. I can't do it. Mm-hmm. I would make a shitty boss. I'm a bad boss. I need virtual. I know my own weakness. You know what I'm saying? So don't try to emulate everybody. What you end up doing is you start looking at what everybody does, and you take a piece of this guy and a piece of that woman and a piece of that strategy, and then you build your own. That's the beauty of where we are today, is that you can create your own reality. So go forward and do you. Ooh, that's good.
That is good. I don't want to ask a question after that. No, that was solid. Where can people reach you? Contact information?
It's simple. You just go to Google and type in ColderICE, ColderICE. You'll find me.
Awesome. Or type in John Lawson. I found you that way, actually.
Yeah. JohnLawson.com.
It's not a question, but it's in regards to that last statement. I actually have trouble because I'm trying to scale up fast, similar to what you said, and which is not what you're supposed to do. But right now, it's kind of like the early stages of growth. It's not like I have like 20 million sitting in the bank. So I don't know. I'm not expecting some type of response not to do it, but I guess what shouldn't people do?
Okay, I got a great one for you. This is a life strategy. Okay. I don't even remember where I heard it from, but it became my moniker. It's like your short-term profits should pay for your long-term profits or your long-term investments. Short-term profits pay for long-term investments, and long-term investments pay me. Let me say that again. Short-term profits pay for long-term investments, and long-term investments pay me. One thing that I see so many people doing that is a very big accident, and I've been in it before, is that the income that you will get, you think is going to be like that forever. And people start eating their seed. And it's like a farmer. If a farmer ate all of his seed, he would never have a crop the following year. So don't eat all your seed. Plant it back.
I think I understand what you're saying. My issue is I've been taking all my short-term profits and putting it back in, which leaves me with very little cash. And that I find that very risky / scary.
Exactly. It's a little risky. So some of that profit,
it's very risky,
put in some long-term investments.
Yep. The problem is if I do that long-term investment strategy, I guess I'm taking massive risk right now to grow it to a point where I want it to within the next 6 months where I won't have to do it anymore. But I guess it's just a shaky 6-month gap.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, dude, how many kids you got?
I've got 20. No.
No. How many kids do you have?
I have 0. How many do you have?
Exactly.
I know you have one. You've mentioned one already.
And you're 28. If I were in your shoes, I'd be doing exactly what you're doing.
All right. So that's kind of like the advice I was hoping you'd say.
Absolutely,
Okay.
man. Take risks. You're freaking young. You know what? There's something for being young, you know? And the deal is, many of us, when we make our lives over and over again before, I'm 51 years old. I've been on the planet 2.5 times, or about 2 times more than you, right? All I know is that if I had this opportunity in my 20s, I would be pedal to the metal just like you are, you know, with the idea of, at some level, I do have to pull it back and start thinking about my future, but for now, man, go for it. I don't begrudge you at all. Actually, I'm totally jealous.
Well, just to throw it back in your corner, I heard I don't know if you're interested in this, but I've heard they figured out the gene that causes aging, and so they can stop that gene. They've gone to the point where they've doubled the lifespan of like it was worms, and even tripled it. So apparently what causes us to age is a certain gene, and if you can like target it specifically, you can make humans not age anymore, which causes our organs to fail and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So kind of cool. I don't know how that would affect the human race.
I don't know. It depends. You know, and the planet has to get better, or I don't even want to be here that long.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
I try not to watch the news, but you know.
That's funny. But I do feel like we're going to live longer than our parents before us and the generation before us. And I know your generation will probably do that for sure. But I feel like I might have a few more years left. And I've got pretty good genes. My parents look good.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Take care of yourself, man.
Yeah, awesome talking to you, John Lawson. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Good talk, man.
Yeah, good talk. All right, thanks, guys, for tuning in live. David Aladdin, John Lawson, out. Today's sponsor is AMZ Secrets Keyword King. What if you could sell 10 more units per day on Amazon, or 100 more units per day? The key to selling more on Amazon is driving more traffic to your Amazon listing that's related to your listing. Reviews help, yes. Quality photos help, yes. However, increasing relevant traffic is king. The only way to sell 100 more units per day is having at least 100 more people visit your listing per day. Keyword King leverages smart algorithms to assist you in building the best keyword lists for all your products. Not only will you hit 5,000 characters total and 1,000 characters per line in the back end for your Amazon listing, you will do so knowingly with the best combination of words. Right now, you might have 3,000 characters filled up, and that's pretty darn good. But you really don't know for sure, and you should actually be at 5,000 characters. It's tiring, time-consuming, and cramped in Amazon's back end. Keyword King performs many tasks on the fly, live, while you are building your list, and ensures your list is as powerful as can be. It intelligently eliminates spaces, duplicate keywords, and other negative things that would hurt your sales. You can save an infinite amount of keyword lists, return to them later, and compare which lists are performing best for your products. Best of all, it allows for a one-click translation of your first and second rows to your fourth and fifth rows in Spanish. Over 55 million potential U.S. shoppers are Hispanic in the U.S., and they type directly into Amazon in Spanish. These keywords are often untargeted and easy sales to add to your bottom line. It does this all while applying smart keyword cleaning algorithm. In the end, organic traffic to your listing is free. Getting free high-quality traffic is the way to build sustainable, long-term Amazon businesses. Keyword King will destroy your competition using amzsecrets.com. Guys, I hope you guys loved the podcast as I did. Be sure to join our Facebook Mastermind secret group at amzsecrets.com/FB. It would help tremendously. Also, if you could leave a quick review on iTunes. Every question has an answer for Amazon, and finding the right one is critical to your success. amzsecrets.com does this, and it does it all for free. So why not? See you guys all there. This podcast has been directed by David Aladdin, a global king in logistics, strategy, and secrets. Hee hee. David Aladdin, out.